Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As some of you probably can tell, a different background today. I am traveling and this will be the background for the next week or so. I was trying my best to create some good lighting, but it is what it is. I think you can still see me. What really matters is that you hear me and you can see the videos that I will present to you today, as well as the articles. And I'm glad I still have internet access and I can record this video for you, and I hope I still have your attention. So guys, today I would like to look a little bit, not being an expert in politics, but as an observer who has been observing and analyzing and learning about things in the last, I would say, 5 years or so. Some people, they know a lot of those things for their entire life. But I'm a newbie as far as those topics go. But you know what? I think once something clicks, you connect the dots. So today I want to talk about the case with Obama. That is, of course, so important right now. It's very important. And this is on many, many levels. Personally, for me, I see it not just about being a treason. That is, of course, obvious, about Russia hoax and faking the documents and lying to the public, and that category of the huge issue. But I also want to talk about his wife or husband, because this is also another layer here about what will be exposed. And I also want to bring to you a video that addresses that case with Obama, also connected to the Federal Bank Reserve, Fed. That has nothing to do with federal and has nothing to do with reserve. But let's start with the classic video and then I will connect the dots for you. The last topic that I want to bring to you today is about Satanism in Russia. I came across an article on TASS and I want to read this for you. It's about the number of Satanists in Russia. Very interesting, because I was just creating those last two videos kind of in this topic, really. And there we have the article. So let's go to the classic video. Many of you probably know very well, but if not, I will tell you about it in a second. Let's play it.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman
we
president?
already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so there was John Rivers, forgot how many years ago, but shortly after that video, in which she mentioned that we already had a gay president, of course, meaning Obama, and Michelle, as they call her, him, Big Mike, is a transgender. Shortly after that video, apparently she was dead. Some people say that she wasn't, but that's another story. Conspiracy again. Wouldn't be interesting if she wasn't, actually. But let's stay with the version that after that, she died in one of the New York hospitals. I think it was in New York. And why I'm bringing this video to you first? Because also today, I came across this article, that is, this news. There are many articles about it, but I chosen this one, that Macron's file US lawsuit over claims France's first lady was born male. Case against right-wing influencer Candace Owens is a rare defamation suit from a serving world leader. Before I continue with this article, because it will go into details a little bit, which is interesting and important, I think. If you haven't watched the documentary that Candace Owens put together, she created 3 videos, very informative videos with some interviews as well from people who live in France, who were studying this case for a long time, some journalists as well. And you know what? This will be very interesting to watch. So let's read this first. What is the lawsuit about? French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife, it's the wife, Brigitte, have filed a US defamation lawsuit against Candace Owens, a right-wing influencer and podcaster, who has said France's First Lady is in fact a man. The 218-page lawsuit filed in Delaware on Wednesday. Can I just ask you guys, I don't remember, is Biden from Delaware? I think he was from Delaware. Anyway, you can put in the comment down below. Accuses Owens of publishing outlandish, defamatory, and far-fetched fictions. Chief among them that Brigitte Macron was born male under the name Jean-Michel Trudeau. I think I said the last name the right way. Anyway, Owens has also said the French president and his wife were blood relatives. Can I just say before I continue? She said, I think that Brigitte Macron or Jean-Michel Trudeau is in fact father of Emmanuel Macron. Because how sick those people are, this wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, let's continue. She also said French president and his wife were blood relatives and that Emmanuel Macron was a product of a CIA human experiment or a similar government mind control program, according to the Macron's court's filing. This suit is a rare case of a serving world leader personally suing an online influencer over their content, though it comes days after Donald Trump sued the Wall Street Journal and its parent companies over a report of a letter that the US president allegedly wrote to Jeffrey Epstein. Like, what this moment here, and this has to do with this sidetracking, because of course we have to direct everything to Trump now, right? So no, like, she's definitely a woman and definitely Trump was guilty. But let's continue. I'm being sarcastic. The Macron face a high legal bar, since US defamation law require public figures to show actual malice, meaning that the person knew the information was false or had a reckless disregard for the truth. The Macrons are seeking a jury trial and punitive damages. So guys, why I think this is all connected? I tell you, like I said before, that the case with Obama, in my personal opinion, is not just going to be political case. This is not just about treason, which is, of course, enormous story. I think it's bigger than Watergate's was. But just on that note, I don't know, some of you probably noticed that Trump was very close with Nixon, with President Nixon. And I think Nixon, I heard in some interviews, he gave Trump a lot of info, the insider info, you know what I mean? And there was some info. So now we have this. As this case with Obama will continue, and in my opinion, he will be brought to treason, probably military tribunals. I don't know how this works. I never seen that. Many people don't believe it's going to take place. I personally do. I think he will be charged. But it's not just him, it's many people around him. And in that moment, we will also have, if this continues, this lawsuit against Candace Owens, proving, because ultimately I think that's how it ends, that Brigitte Macron was actually a man. And if she can even prove that Jean-Michel Trudeau, whatever the name was, so Brigitte Macron is a father of Emmanuel Macron. It sounds outrageous, guys. It sounds crazy and like the biggest lunatic story ever. However, you would be surprised how crazy those people are, how sick those people are, because they worship Satan, and it's the entire religion of theirs is based on such a demonic ways of being. And is he Macron under the MK Ultra program? I think, of course, because they pick up certain people to be put into positions and they have to groom them from the young age. The same like Justin Trudeau, right? Or Justin Castro, however you want to call him. So here is this case. This will take us to Michelle Obama, Michael, Big Mike. So we will have another story that we had I say we had because I spent so many years in US, that there was a first lady that was actually not a lady in United States. So I don't know how you look into it. Like, isn't it also a lie, big lie to American public? There was never a case like this, right? Or was there? Actually, maybe. Some people say that Barbara Bush, that's another story. But you know, I think this will open up another Pandora's box, and that won't be easy because that will also continue with what were the parties in the White House, the human trafficking aspect, where are the missing children, etc., etc. So when the world now is focusing on the missiles and protests in Ukraine and Zelensky signing another ridiculous law, people don't want this and they don't want Zelensky. This is one story, but ultimately, all the roads will lead to children and human sacrifice because it's all about remaining in power. It's all connected. So let's go now to this article from TASS about the Satanism in Russia. How does that look like over there? And then I will take you to my favorite geopolitical YouTube channel, as some of you already know. I had one lady from that channel as a guest on my channel. I hope I will have both of them soon. Now, start with Russia, guys. Then we go to another video. A little bit all over the place. Sorry, guys. I'm in a different location, so it's different energy also. Let's look at this. TASS from yesterday. Analyst puts number of Russian Satanists at tens of thousands. How interesting that they are actually writing about Satanism now. So let's look at this article. According to Roman Silantiev, the movement was banned for its support of Ukraine and fundraising for the Ukrainian armed forces. Moscow, July 23rd, that was yesterday. Russia is home to tens of thousands of Satanists, but they are not grouped into large organizations, said religious scholar Roman Silantiev, who is director of Human Rights Center of the World Russian People's Council. His comments followed a ruling by Russia's Supreme Court that granted a motion from the Prosecutor General's office to designate the international Satanist movement extremist and then outlawed in the country. So this is extremist movement, not allowed in Russia. Silantiev led the group of experts that provided research to the court before it made the decision. Quoting him, Satanists in Russia number tens of thousands. So looking at Russia, that's actually, comparing to other countries like, United States, I'm not saying this is small number, but this is in comparison very low number. In US, I don't know, probably you can count in millions. There are no large Satanism organizations in the country. Usually Satanists come in groups of fewer than 10 people or act as individuals. This is a consequence of their misanthropy. The ban on Satanism will apply not only to the people that worship Satan proper, but also all, and I don't know this word, guys, I'm sorry, acolytes of dark gods, he said. So not just those who worship Satan, but any other demonic creatures, right? That's good. Like, just let's be done with this completely. According to the analyst, the movement was banned for its support of Ukraine and fundraising for the Ukrainian armed forces. It was due to this reason that the Russian Prosecutor General's office designated the American sect, the Satanic Temple, as undesirable in 2024. Russian cells of Satanists were recently discovered who planned terrorist and sabotage attacks in favor of Ukraine, Silantiev said. He said, there have been reports of a large number of ritual killings of people and animals, as well as desecration of burial sites and bodies of the dead that were committed by Satanists. Quoting him again, typical crimes of Satanists are ritual killings of people, about 300 people since 1993, and animals, especially cats, cannibalism, rape, desecration of burial sites and bodies of the dead, and incitement to hatred on religious grounds, the analyst said. According to Silantiev, the ban on international Satanist movement will not damage the domain of arts and culture, although the prohibition also applies to satanic symbols. Very good. He said the satanic movement has made a minimal and very controversial contribution to culture, of course, mainly by enriching horror movies with plot lines. How good is this, guys? So there is one more article below this that actually talks about this ruling of the Russian court about Satanism. So let's look into this. Let's just read one part of it. I will attach the links to those articles down below the video. But this is official news, so this is very good. So Russia's Supreme Court has recognized the international Satanism movement as extremist and banned its activity in Russia. The court has satisfied administrative legal claims by Russia's prosecutor general and the Russian Justice Ministry on recognizing the international Satanist movement, also known as the International Satanist Movement, as an extremist organization and banning its activities on Russian soil, the court said in a statement. Officially, everyone. And this is just from July 23rd, that means from yesterday. So, good news for Russia. They are not as strong there as they would hope to be. But now let's go to the video that I've mentioned to you before. So another approach to Obama case, this will be presented by Susan Kokinda, who is, let me just show you right here, who is one of the hosts of my favorite geopolitical channel right here. Barbara was already my guest, Susan wasn't yet. Promethean updates. I will play this part for you of this video. This is from yesterday. I will attach the link down below in the description box. If you have not subscribed to them, please do, because those two ladies are doing fantastic work, presenting to you the evidence, the history, connecting the dots, and really making you look at the current events from a different angle. Very knowledgeable, very easy to understand, and very informative. So here is the Obama case, also connected to the British Empire and the Federal Bank Reserve. Another angle. Let's play it.
So let's start with what Trump said yesterday about Obama in the Oval Office.
After what they did to me, and whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people. Obama's been caught directly. So people say, oh, you know, a group. It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. What they did in 2016 and in 2020 is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level.
Now, Obama has now been hit hard enough that his office had to release a response, which says nothing in the document released last week undermines the widely accepted conclusion that Russia attempted to influence the 2016 presidential election, but did not successfully manipulate any votes. Tulsi Gabbard countered this by saying, essentially, you ain't seen nothing yet because there's more documents to come. But let me put all of that in the proper context of when Obama came to power. Remember, Obama entered the presidency just as the Wild West speculative bubble had blown wide apart in 2008, shattering the economic foundation for millions of Americans and businesses. We called for Obama's impeachment early with this now famous sign, and we exposed his rise as a British asset mentored by Tony Blair. And we fought for Glass-Steagall when the 2008 bubble burst. Obama's team, with their uniparty allies, stopped that reform cold and protected the bailouts. In fact, just last week, I reported on Lord Peter Mandelson and Jeffrey Epstein's role in defending the central banking system, a system that should have been ended in 2008. Now, Trump also called for Glass-Steagall on the campaign trail in 2016. Glass-Steagall is a bill that was in place for over 50 years that separated commercial banking from the speculators. And Trump's calling for Glass-Steagall put an even bigger target on his back than was already there, because he demonstrated that he understood how insane the current system was. Remember that when we talk about his fight with Jerome Powell a little later. And remember that as we take a look at the historical origins of what you call today the deep state. Because the creation of the FBI and the Federal Reserve go hand in hand, emerging within 5 years of each other. The Bureau of Investigations, later named the FBI, was created in 1908, and the Federal Reserve was created in 1913. These both came in the immediate period after the assassination of William McKinley, the last American system Republican president until Donald Trump. Shortly after that bureau was created, British intelligence dispatched one of its officers, Claude Dancy, to the United States, where he was embedded as the resident secretary of a super elite country club on the Hudson, founded by the Rockefellers and frequented by them and the Morgans and the rest of America's financier elite. Sir Dancy cultivated an enormous network of rich and connected contacts. He then became the mentor of American Ralph Van Damon and trained Van Damon and others in surveillance and counterinsurgency techniques modeled on the British imperial practices. These methods then directly shaped America's early secret police apparatus. And during these formative years, under Sir Dancy's direction, this was all done in lockstep collaboration with America's financier elite. Dancy's biographer wrote, his contacts from those years controlled banks, railroads, public utilities, as well as the production of vital materials such as rubber, copper, and oil. They were also able to pull strings for him and gain him access to men of power, like Secretary of War Baker. In other words, our original national police force, which was renamed the FBI in 1935, was set up to protect the interests of the Anglo-American elite. There's a similar story to be told another time about the formation of the CIA. But in other words, the so-called deep state has always been the policing arm for the empire's financial and economic interests. Obama's conspiracy is just the latest chapter in this century-long story. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, and why Trump's Fed comments are just as important as the exposure of the Obama plot against Trump. Trump and his economic team aren't just exposing the inner workings of a decades-long coup against him. They are preparing the American people for a huge economic fight. They're bringing you into a public and heated discussion about the very viability of the Federal Reserve. Listen to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent.
I think that what we need to do is examine the entire Federal Reserve institution and whether they have been successful.
Now listen to Kevin Warsh's comments about the Fed. Warsh is being considered as a replacement for Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell whenever and however Powell's term ends. Here's what Warsh said about the Fed. We need regime change in the conduct of policy. But Warsh's other remarks are frankly even more interesting because he takes to task some hallowed Fed axioms. He said,
So I attached the entire video down below in the description box. So to finalize my thoughts today on all of this, in my opinion, as Obama goes down, so will the Fed. There will be a different dollar. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm just giving you my few cents watching this. It will be probably called treasury note or something like that. The case with Obama will also be a case, I believe, exposing Big Mike. As this gets exposed, will be also exposing the activities that those two and many others around them were involved into, the celebrities, etc., etc. This takes us to human trafficking, missing children, sacrifice, human sacrifice, all of that. All right. Now, when I was thinking about Russia, banning Satanism in Russia, I was thinking to myself, wouldn't this be the greatest achievement in United States if they could come to this point when they will do what Russia did and completely remove that energy from the United States of America? Even though I don't think it was created there, I think it was planted there because there was a great soil for it to expand with creations of, you know, movies and television and Hollywood, etc., and all those things, what you glorify, the music. But wouldn't it be great, guys, if that would be the ultimate victory to ban that demonic energy from there? Let me know what you think. I hope you appreciate this video. I'm a little bit out of my usual recording flow, so sorry if it's a little bit all over the place, but I appreciate your attention. I appreciate you hitting thumbs up and subscribing to my channel, leaving comments down below. And tomorrow I will be again personally thanking everyone by name for your donations on PayPal. It really, really helps me a lot, and I appreciate it very much, as well as becoming my Patreon or local supporter. All the links, as always, you find down below in the description box. And with this being said, lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video. Bye, everyone.